Hello lovely people, welcome to my channel. I'm Barbara and this is cycle mapping slash life. So I'm making videos about life, about women's cycle and everything that is entangled with it, which is life. Since we have New Year and the beginning and everybody's starting with what am I gonna do in this year, and we're just like starting with some resolutions, and I'm just gonna start eating healthy now, and I'm gonna be going to the gym, and there's such a spike usually of like memberships in gyms at the beginning of the year. And I actually made a video, it's in Czech right now, so I'm gonna make it in English in future as well. It's about New Year's resolutions don't work. Mainly it's because there is some supporting energy at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, which is the time of the Capricorn, and it's very organized and very systematic, and it's like very like ruled and just like contained. But then we are going into the Aquarius, which is very different energy. It's very creative, very loose. It's the first, like the Capricorn is earth. Earth is definitely very dense and very grounding, and then the air, you know, the air as Aquarius is very loose. It's just like, it's floating, it's everywhere. That is one of the aspects, and I'm gonna make a special video about it. But today I would like to talk about how overwhelming it is usually, especially at the beginning of the year, when we hear like, oh, I have to, you know, make myself better, and I have to make this year better, and I'm gonna do better this year, and I'm gonna go for it. It can be helpful, but it can be also very overwhelming, and it can be very unsupportive. So what's better is to sit down and just like calm down and relax a little bit and really think about, who am I? You know, why am I here? What is my purpose in life? What makes me happy? This is like the key, really. Like, this is the key to happiness. Like, well, what is happiness? But this is the key to live a better life. Like, what truly makes me happy? What makes me joyful? Where am I finding joy in life? Because even if we are doing all these things that are right, you know, we're meditating, maybe journaling, we are exercising, we're eating right, and we are not happy, where is the joy? Where is the happiness? I just heard recently Maria Forleo video about this topic, and it was very eye-opening. And there was one very cool tip that she gave, and I would give it to you now as well, is that I don't do. You can add anything after it. So I don't do overwhelm. Because like if we keep repeating that I'm overwhelmed, this is so much, this is too much, then you're gonna have it. Because universe works this way. Universe works in this way that we attract what we focus on and what we put our energy into. It's very heartbreaking for me, especially seeing so many young people struggle with weight, with depression. My most seeked video is in Czech right now, but it's about how can I recognize depression. And since COVID hit, the depression rate and the struggle and the suicide rate tripled, which is crazy. And it only shows us how isolation, not being touched, not being in touch with people, is totally devastating for us as human beings. It's not natural, it's not normal. As human beings, we thrive with touch, with hugs, with just like being in community, being with other people, being around people. Of course, people also started having anxieties around people, and that's the problem. It's a survival mode. They're in survival mode of like, okay, I'm alone, I gotta survive. Because when we think about what happened in the past, we were tribal beings, you know, we lived in tribes. And if you didn't live in tribe, if the tribe asked you to leave, that basically was a death sentence. Like seriously, like I'm not joking. This is what happened. Like that's why when people were asked to go in exile, they're just like panicked. Like it was just like, oh my God, like I'm losing my well-being. I'm losing everything, like all my support. I'm losing all my love and care and security. I'm left alone. I'm gonna die. So this is very primal, it's very instinctual, and there is nothing we can do about it to change it. The only thing that we can do about it is to surround ourselves with people that we love. So it is very essential to surround ourselves with people that we are gonna feel cherished by and supported and loved. And it can be scary to open up and be vulnerable, but that's the only way to find people that are gonna resonate with you. Because if it's not your family, it's gonna be your friends, and it's okay. But we have to be brave and open up and go find those people that we feel that support us. And they are looking into just like how they can support us and be there for us. If they're just taking, that's not supportive, okay? And so here we have dieting, which is very damaging. And there's always like, oh, this is like the best diet in the world, like it's gonna help you for sure. And the fitness industry, that is so damaging as well. Like there are all these supplements and eat this and you're gonna be strong and you're gonna be well and this and that. And those people in fitness, well, I don't want to be super judgmental, but from what I've heard from people who are in it, really, it's very unhealthy, especially in those people who wanted to succeed and they wanted to just like, you know, build up the thinnest possible. They want to have all the six packs and they just wanted to be in those shows. They're not healthy. Like seriously, they're not healthy. They are on a very restrictive diet. They're not drinking enough, so their muscles would show more, and many different things, let alone to talk about the mental problems when people can become obsessed, and they are usually obsessed with like how many grams has this and how many grams of fat I have on my body. I would rather be this little overweight and happy than like restricting myself and pretend to be happy, because I'm not gonna be happy. Like it's a pretending, like it's not real. And I'm not saying like there might be people who have it all, like they are very well balanced and they're well and they feel okay and happy and good and joyful, and that's great, but it's just not the majority. Like the majority of people, and it shows in statistics, it's only 3% of diets are successful. So that means that 97% of diets that people try fail. What does that say and what does that mean? That means that everybody is different, and what works for one person doesn't work for the other. And we have to find what's gonna work for us, and it's gonna change throughout the life. I'm different than I was 10 years ago, and what worked for me 10 years ago is not gonna work for me now. First of all, because I gained so much weight when I was pregnant, and it's super different. Like seriously, like I'm just telling you this because like I'm sick, I'm tired and sick of people telling me, well, it's only calories in, calories out, you just gotta eat less and move more and you're gonna lose weight. Bullshit, that's bullshit. Like seriously, I'm so sick of it. Don't ever tell me that, because I'm not gonna react to it anymore, because it's BS. Especially for women, because women's body is so different and it's changing throughout the month, and we need different things throughout the month. And so what works the first 2 weeks of our cycle is not gonna work the other 2 weeks. That's a science actually, and that's my experience now as well. The other thing is, and it's a huge factor, is our mental well-being. And I learned how to emotionally eat. So I was, you know, just stuffing myself with food, because like I was binge eating because of my emotions that I didn't know how to deal with. And emotional eating is a very huge problem, especially nowadays, because there's so much sugar in everything, and therefore it's really hard. Like it's addiction basically, and we're addicted to sugar and carbs and all that stuff. And it's a vicious cycle, because when you're emotionally eating, you're not well, and food is everywhere, and you're always constantly struggling because you have to eat, right? If somebody struggles with addiction with alcohol or drugs, it's simple. You just cut it out and you stop eating it or you stop drinking it, and that's it. You just never touch it. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna struggle because like it's gonna be hard not to touch it, but if you don't touch it, you're okay. But with food, you have to eat to survive, right? Like you're not gonna be breatharian, so you still have to eat. You still have to figure out how to eat and what to eat. And that took me a really long time to find the balance and find a way, and it's still a journey, but I'm so much better. But I just wanted to tell you that it's very different if you are trying to lose, let's say, 5-10 pounds versus 50 pounds. It's very different. And people are like, oh, it's something like 1 pound at a time. Yeah, it's great, but you have to find a way first to your mental well-being and your health in your head. You have to change it, you have to shift, and that takes time. Because if you change your diet, if you change what you're doing, but you're not changing what you're thinking about yourself, about your life, like how is it going, you're gonna go back, and that's the yo-yo dieting. Basically, it's the gaining back everything what you lost and maybe gaining something extra because you didn't change this and this and this and this. It's connected. So it's very important to realize and also work with the whole well-being and stop focusing on how am I gonna lose weight and what am I gonna do, and start focusing on our health, well-being, overall well-being and health and what it means. And it means different things for different people, but it's also finding the balance between eating healthy, what it is actually as well, movement, and mental well-being. How we work with our emotions, what we do for our emotions, how can we work with them and process them, and how can we work with stress. This all is very unique because each of us is very unique. We are very unique people, and what works for one person doesn't work for the other. As there is said in Ayurveda, what's remedy for one can be a poison for another one. And it's true, really, because sometimes for some person it's going to be great to eat a lot of meat, maybe good meat, and a lot of veggies, and for some person it's going to be great to be vegetarian or maybe even vegan. It's all connected to our ancestry and our habits that we also were passed on through our ancestors. It's all connected and it's all working together. So we have to realize that if we are not in alignment and harmony with ourselves, it's gonna show in our body. And our body is such a great friend, actually, to be here and to be like, hey, this is not really working. Like, you have to actually give it to our body. Our body is amazing. It's amazing. It's truly, truly remarkable how much poison and how much horrible shit we put in our body, and it still works, and it's still here, and it's still doing the best it can to support us and be our vessel in this physical world. That's amazing. And once we start realizing and changing relationship that we hate with our body, because a lot of the times we hate the body. It's like, why are you doing this to me? Why am I this fat? Why am I this thin? Why do I have big thighs? Or why do I have this? And why don't I have beautiful hair or long hair? Or why don't I have like brown eyes or something? Like, we always constantly try to fight our body, and it's actually, I think that that's why there's so much hatred and war in the world, because we struggle and we are at war with our own body, with our own self. It means that we're not well, and therefore there cannot be peace. It's really true, but when it says peace in oneself, peace in the world. It's true, but what it means to work with our own self, to be there for our inner child, because the child is acting out. All of us, we have the inner child that once we were, and maybe it wasn't supported as it needed to be, and maybe it wasn't loved as it needed to be, and maybe the baby within us was not cared for the way we needed to be. It was not touched, it was touched improperly. There's so many different things. And once we start realizing that, we have to start be there for our own inner child. You are the only person who can be there for your inner child. Nobody else is gonna do it for you. Even if the closest person that you have, even your loved ones, are gonna be there for you 100% all the time, which they're not, but they would be, it's not gonna fill that void and that struggle and that trauma and struggle that you were faced and lived. This is the shortcut basically to find your peace, find that love that we all have. We are so loving, we have so much love to give, but when we're traumatized and when we have so much hurt and so much suffering, we cannot share that love with others. That shows in many different ways. A lot of it is obesity nowadays, and it is because people are not loving themselves. They don't know how. And I'm trying to show you that this is the easiest and fastest way to start the journey to self-love, to start looking into how was your child hurt, what happened to you as a child. And it can be very minor. It doesn't have to be like some crazy trauma and some horrible suffering. But for the child it was, because we didn't know how to, put it together, how to connect certain things, how to understand certain things. We were just like sponges. We were just like getting things in ourselves. And so there's so many different things that are habitual, that are passed on throughout the ancestors, and that are not even our own, but we still kind of like work in that mode because that's what we were taught. Maybe for this beginning of the year, what you can start doing every single night maybe is to lay down with your inner child, just close your eyes even now, and think about yourself when you were little. And it doesn't matter how old you were. Maybe you're a baby in your mind or feeling. Maybe you were a 5-year-old or 3-year-old. It doesn't matter. Whatever comes to you is the right age for you. And just hold that baby and hold that child. Maybe kiss them. Maybe just like pet them a little bit and just tell them that you love them so much. Here and now, I love you. You are so precious. You're amazing. You're such a beautiful being. You're the best whatever ever happened to me. And I'm here for you. I'm so grateful. You're part of me. That's it. Just try doing that and look what's gonna happen. I can guarantee to you that first, it might be actually very hard and a lot of struggle, because when we are showing love and compassion, it's gonna bring out a lot of suffering. And that means that you're on the right path, because when we are creating space of security and safety, that trauma can come up and can be healed, because what's unseen cannot be healed. We have to bring it out of our unconsciousness into our consciousness to be able to heal it, to be able to work with it, and start learning how to process emotions. Just to sit with them, just to be with them. Let it pass. Don't try to create any attachments, because it's not necessary. Just if you feel a lot of like hardness here, maybe there's so much hurt, just put your hands there and just breathe through it. Breathe deeply. That helps. That really lowers our cortisol in our body. Or maybe you feel a lot of like tension here in your stomach area. So just put your hands there and breathe in it. Breathe there and just be. That's it. You don't have to do any big motions, any big resolutions. You don't have to do anything special other than just be and breathe. Be present. Be here and now. That's the most healing that you can do for yourself, and that's the best resolution that you can do for yourself this year. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm really glad you were here. If you liked my video, please subscribe. You can also give a thumbs up to my video so more people can see it and maybe get benefits from it, maybe some information. I'm posting almost every Wednesday, 1 week in Czech, 1 week in English. And if you have any comments or if you have anything that you would like to share with me, please leave a comment or just email me and get in touch with me. I'm doing rituals and consultations, and I'm also preparing a course for people about emotional eating, and I really look forward to see you next time. Have a beautiful day, have a beautiful and great year, and I'll see you next time. Bye.